At the beginning, I said to them, I don't want to hear anything about the odds. I don't want to hear statistics. I don't care about that. All I want to do is understand what's happening, and then use my own decisions about what I'm going to do about things. I also told them about the rhythm pieces right from the beginning, and said that I really that would be the real key to my recovery. It was 4 years from the first surgery, the very first time that, and it was, I had symptoms and all the kinds, about 6 months of trying to figure out what's going on, and then found out that it was a tumor there, and it's one of those, it's a glioblastoma, which basically they have no way to, it always comes back. They can't figure out how to make it go away.
We worked together as a team from the beginning. Neither one of us could have done a fraction of what we did if we weren't together. It was a lot of work, tremendous amount of work, but it was easy, because in the end we always came out with an agreement, and we held that agreement. It was real clear, and we weren't afraid. We weren't afraid to break the mold. We knew that what we were going to do was going to be outside the box.
They were told me the average was 2 years. So now I've had twice that. I've been there for 4 years, and of course, every time there's a surgery, the tumor does come back. Okay, and it's there right now, in fact, and it's always in the same place. So I think my doctors are pretty amazed that, for one thing, I shouldn't be able to have this conversation at all, but here we are. Right? Again, I'm sure it's about the rhythm. I'm absolutely sure about the rhythm and the drumming.
So Morwen drove me. She organized, she wrote, we would have long conversations. She would translate that into something that was palatable and acceptable by larger masses. Me, I was rough on the edges. And she became an incredible drummer by playing the bass, by just being solid. She had a good sense of music to begin with. She's also a flute player. She's one of the few flute players that could play just about with anybody. So it was natural for her, but she wasn't coming ever from a place of ego. It was always service.
I have aphasia, which means that I'm thinking about a lot of things, but it is broken where it comes through my mouth, through my expressive language. So I can think a lot of more things than I can actually say. Yeah, but I can still drum though. That's the thing. Last 20 years I've been working with Takatina, okay, which is a method, a rhythm method that was originally created by Reinhard Platishler, And I worked with him and Cornelia Jecklin, who I'm still working with, which is such a wonderful thing. And so I have really known for at least 20 years that the rhythm heals. And so despite the fact that the part of my brain that has trouble expressive words and I have a lot of ideas and things, but it's difficult to come through my speaking. But I can play.
She continued drumming. If anything, she got better. She never wavered. Yeah, she'd get tired sometimes, but she still would drum. We still would do all-night fire circles, although she would make it all night. But when she was there, she was present. And when she wasn't there, you noticed. And even the strongest male drummers there looked at her for that center, that focus.
I'm very clear that the part of my brain that is both the rhythm and the things that connect all the parts in my brain have been very much helping me. And so I'm doing a lot of rhythm stuff. All the 25 years of rhythm and drumming and dancing as well, the physical pieces of the kinesthetic reality of being in the world, and so the rest of my brain has learned how to connect itself. And so each time I've had another surgery, you know, I have trouble, and then it comes back. It's really quite amazing. I'm very sure that it's about the rhythm.
The drumming pushed her, gave her quality of life, and she always wanted quality of life over quantity. So if she had a choice between doing a drum thing or a spirit event or something that was going to involve our magic and our work, she would compromise on the medications. She wouldn't let them interfere with the quality. And even then, she lasted over 5 years when they only gave her 2.
It feels like myself, because I don't have to talk. And you know, interestingly enough, sometimes when I'm actually drumming, I can actually talk while I'm drumming, which, you know, that's hard. And somehow, because it's everything connecting, somehow, if I'm drumming, I can go over here and say, could you get close the door, or whatever it is, I can do it. It's harder when I'm not without the rhythm, you know. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it, and I did. And if you look at some of those photographs, the joy was just all around me. You know, it's like I couldn't believe I could do it. And then there we were, and it was so fun. It was so good. And then I know that is also moving my it just gets good. It gets better, you know, when I do that, and then I just feel so much better. And you know, it's kind of amazing that I'm actually be able to have this conversation with you, actually.
The drumming kept her alive more than anything. The people involved in that level of drumming, coming from the heart, kept her alive.
I have so much gratitude. Oh my goodness. It's so much. And I've continued to even teach, and I've done some Takatina sessions with various people, and I last fall I had a workshop with Cornelia, and we went together to Rites of Spring, not Rites of Spring, wrong, it's Twilight Covenant, and Cornelia and I did a workshop together, which was something that was way high on my bucket list. It was like I've been wanting to work with her for so many years, and it happened, and we had 4 days of doing rhythms and doing journeys, rhythm journeys, and I got another tumor right in the middle of that event, and we actually had to leave before it was over. But even while I totally knew that the tumor was coming up, I still was able to work on the pseudo, and I was able to do other kinds of rhythms and to do things, and I kept doing it because it made me feel better. Even though I knew I was getting sick, I could do it, and it made me feel better. Baba was all about putting the drums into people's hands, and so we took that really seriously too. And I mean, even before he said that, I was thinking, if everyone had a drum, life would be better. And then he would say things like that, so we knew we were on the right track. And yes, everybody has rhythm. If you can breathe, if you can walk, or even if you can't, if your heart is beating, then you've got a rhythm there, okay? So there is a thing that says anyone can drum. And they do. You bring all kinds of things, and he can make it so that everybody feels like something is happening, and everybody's participating, and everybody's creating something powerful together. And that's a wonderful thing. And that's one piece about rhythm, about drumming, which is that just about anyone can do it. When you bring people together and they don't all know each other, you can organize certain thing and it will feel, can be okay. But there's something really magical that happens when a group of people continue to play together over time, okay? And that's the part that creates community. Drumming is great, but it's better if you have dancing, okay? And so that's why I have something, we call it drum and dance, because drumming alone, you can do a circle and people have fun, they have fun, but it's a whole different thing when we set it up in a way so that the drummers are working together to support dancers. And that's something that we've been, talking about and teaching about and doing for many years, and has become, more of a thing. There's a lot of it is about listening, and not so much about, making rhythm, but to listen and feel where it is. There's something that's really different when you have a group doing things together, and then you realize that what we make is created by all of us with small pieces. And so you can find one note each cycle that contributes to the whole thing. And then what you have is something that's very powerful, and you don't have to create it for yourself, all by yourself. And again, that's both that works for the rhythm as it comes into your own body, and it also is this big piece about rhythm and community.
Any time that we can have that vision and remember her, she's there. She's right over your shoulder. Hold it. Beat. With no effort and pure joy. That's who she was.